Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well and keeping safe. So guys, on this video, we're going to be talking about home automation and more importantly, blinds and how to control your blinds, open, close them, schedule them, etc., etc. Now you could go a little bit more on the expensive side and get the blinds that have a built-in Wi-Fi enabled motor in them. Those do tend to be an additional $300 to $500 more than the actual blinds themselves. And if you've recently installed blinds in your house, you know how expensive that could get. So what I found was a cheaper alternative from Best Buy for about $125, and it just basically controls the cords that come with your blinds. That's the unit, and I'm about to install another one, so I'll walk you through it. This one I installed a few months ago. I just wanted to see how I like it, if it works well, etc. And the answer was yes, it works really, really well. Hardly any issues with it. So I wanted to show you, and I'm also going to show you how I've controlled it with Alexa. So Alexa, turn off patio. So you could see the blinds behind me are closing now from a voice command. I could also give it a percentage like this. Alexa, set patio to 35%. Right? And it'll stop right there. In addition to voice commands, I could also control it from an app, which I hardly ever do because I don't need to with the voice and the physical buttons. It's very rare that I do that, as well as the schedule. And then that unit also has a stop, up, and down switch as well. So if you happen to be right next to it and you want to just press the button, you could do that as well manually. So what I'm going to do on this video is I'm going to install the exact same thing on this patio door here. As you can see, I've already put the blinds up. And I'm going to walk you through that process and how to set it up, etc., etc. This unit cost me about $100 from Best Buy, and that's Canadian dollars. It took me about maybe 20 minutes to install, right? So pretty easy, pretty straightforward. And if you're looking for a cool controller for your blinds, feel free to go check it out. Thanks, guys. And as always, please like and subscribe to my channel, and let's dive right into it. All right, guys, so let's take a look at what comes in the box here. As you can see, small little box, and it ships with everything that you see here, including the instruction manual. Now, this does use an app. You could scan this code and download it from the app store. Basically, it's called Tuya Smart. Now, I don't use Tuya Smart. I use something called Smart Life. It's practically the same app. I'm almost confident it's owned by the same company because the process and everything is exactly identical. All your mounting instructions, different ways to pair it and reset and all that kind of stuff is all in here. Good information. Here's the actual unit, right? So it does tend to be a little bulky, not super sleek, but I guess it is a heavy lifter, right? It's doing quite a bit of work. So it needs to have the right amount of power built into it. So I took the housing off here, but this is basically the wheel that it ships with, the default one. So depending on the type of blinds that you have, chain blinds, string blinds, etc., you might want to use this one, or you might want to use some of the other options that it ships with, okay? And there's some high-level instructions here in terms of what type of wheel you would want to use, but for the most part, just test it out and see which one works best for you. Power supply, standard. You have mounting screws as well as double-sided tape. I tend to use mounting screws. Not a big fan, especially high traffic areas like this one. In case people start bumping into it in the summertime or whatever, going back and forth, I want to make sure that that tape doesn't get loose. And here's the actual mounting bracket. It also ships with this neat little template, so you could put it on depending on if it's going on the right side or the left side. You could put this, use the screws as markers here, the holes as markers rather. You would wrap the cord around this to get that right amount of tension, and then go ahead and start mounting the bracket, and then that clips on to the back of this quite quickly, pretty neatly. Lastly, it does ship with its own controller as well, and again, there's a way of pairing this with the unit if you do plan to use a controller. I personally don't use a controller. It's nice to have it around. Nothing stops you from pairing it and just leaving it on the side, even if you're not using it. But standard controls, up, down, and stop, which is the middle one. Very similar to what's exactly on the controller, up, down, and stop. So keep in mind, I personally control it all the time with Alexa. I also have those blinds on schedule. So 6:30 in the morning, it opens, 8:30 p.m., it closes automatically. If I want to override that, it's super simple. I could do that manually or with my voice or with the app, okay? So you have quite a few options to control it. So I hope that's enough information. I'm going to go ahead and dive right in and put some pictures up here and walk you through the process. So guys, you see how simple that was, right? So I put the bracket on there from the pictures that you saw, screwed onto the wall. Again, you have the option of using double-sided tape. And then this thing just kind of clips on here, right? Very simple, pretty secure. To release it, there's a button all the way at the bottom here. You just press it and you'll be able to release it, okay? So the chains, as you can see here, fits nice and snug, okay? There's not too much dangle room there. And I'm using, again, the default piece that ships with it. All right, that's it. Power supply goes here. There's also a motor direction piece here at the bottom, okay? So depending on which way your blinds are turning to go up and down, you just basically toggle that, and they include a little piece here as well for that. Where is it? Just take it out. Oh yeah, it's in this second bag. So this is the piece they include. It's kind of like that SIM card piece for a phone, right? You just put this in here and you could change the direction of the motor. Yeah, right here on the first page, okay? Left or right, and you use that pin. Okay, so the next step is to basically connect the power source here. I'm gonna plug it into the wall. You'll see a series of blinking over there, as well as on this unit, you'll see that getting powered up, okay? Now keep in mind, this is a Wi-Fi enabled module, so you'll have to set it up on the app if you wanna control it through the app or voice or anything like that. So far it looks really good. So what you wanna do right now is keep in mind, only the manual buttons will work right now. To pair it with the remote controller, there's a sequence there you need to do. It's pretty quick. And to pair it with the app, you need to obviously download the app and set it up, but also you need to make sure that you set up the up and down sequence. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. If not, the app is not gonna work, all right? So just because you download it, don't think it's gonna work right away. So here, what you wanna do right now is you wanna play with the manual buttons a little bit. I'm gonna press down, okay? If your motor's going the right way, then it should be working properly. If it's going up for whatever reason at this point, that means your little button at the bottom needs to be set to the other direction, okay? Left and right. So here what you wanna do is you wanna make sure that it's not really touching anything. It's not getting out on the way. Just let it go up and down. Right now you are controlling it manually, so be prepared to press the button when it does get to its bottom. So as you can see, it's pretty sweet. It's going on its own pretty well here. All right guys, last step, okay, is we're gonna basically tell the controller when the curtain is at its most down position. So you set that up to whatever position you want. Obviously, in most cases, you'll be selecting the down position there. And also we're gonna tell it when to stop. So what you wanna do is you wanna manually press the down button first, or you can press the top button, whatever you want. And then we wanna get ready to press the stop button once it's on its lowest section. Okay, so I'm gonna watch this closely. Sometimes there's a little bit of trial and error. You might wanna do it a couple times if you don't get it right. These type of blinds, I wanna make sure that I'm right in the middle here and no light is passing through. So here it goes. All right, and now I'm gonna get ready to press the stop button. And this is the last step before you could start using the app, okay? As well as opening and closing it in general, because others it's just gonna keep going. So we're getting close here. Okay, there you go. So this is the spot that I would like it to be in the closed position. All right, and now we're gonna hold down the stop button in the middle for a couple seconds until it starts blinking. There you go, perfect. Now, while it's blinking, we're gonna press the up position, okay? And you wanna see that sequence there. And we're gonna follow it the same way, and then when it's at its height, I'm gonna press that stop button again. And then it's gonna, that's the last step, then it's gonna know this is open, this is closed, and you could then control it from the app. So same thing, I'm gonna wait until it goes to the open position. And like I mentioned, you might want to do this a couple times if you don't get it perfectly right the first time. Also, just as an FYI, to go back to factory reset, you hold up and down about 8 seconds and you're good. Okay, so here it is. We're coming to the top. I'm just watching it here. And that's good for me. Okay, right there. So now my up and down is basically set up. And we're ready to go. So guys, that's basically how you set up the blinds controller, all right? Only things I have left here is these things that I didn't end up using. I have my controller, which I'll probably keep in a safe place, but I'm not really planning on using it. And all these little stickers and tools. Again, I'm not using any of those things. It does come with wall anchors too, but for the most part, if you're installing it where your blinds are, you should get a pretty solid piece of wood or something solid to hold on to there, right? So I didn't really need the wall anchors. All right, guys, so we got the hardware out of the way. Now let's take a look at the application, and I'll walk you through what that setup looks like. As mentioned before in this video, I am using the Smart Life app as opposed to the Tuya Smart Home. Tuya is what's recommended, so if you're setting this up for the first time, go ahead and use Tuya. It's practically a carbon copy of Smart Life. In my case, I had a number of different devices, including my pool, my bar lights, etc. These are LED strip lights that were already on Smart Life, so I was able to set this up on Smart Life as well. So what you want to do is click on that plus sign, add device, and you'll see a number of different compatible smart devices that these apps are compatible with. So scroll down to small home appliances and then select curtain Wi-Fi. That's what we're setting up today. Once you click on curtain Wi-Fi, you'll be prompted to put in your network login information. So at the bottom of the screen is where you would select your network as well as put in your password. Just keep in mind though, this smart device, along with a lot of the smart devices that I've set up already, are only looking for a 2.4 gigahertz network. Most modern routers today are broadcasting in both 5 gigahertz and 2.4 and auto switch. So make sure that you're compatible as well. At that point, when you put in your credentials, you click next, and it's going to go into searching for this particular device, right? So this is where the application is looking for the hardware. And it's going to ask you to do a couple things on the hardware side as well. So you want to follow those steps on the instructions. First by resetting that device and waiting for a sequence of blinking lights. And then the two of them could be paired. So in this case, it takes less than a minute to usually find it. You also want to make sure that your blinds are in somewhat good range of your Wi-Fi network. So here it is. It found it. I'm going to click on that pencil and give it a custom name. In this case, it's the kitchen blind. So I'm just going to type in kitchen. And this is also important when you're controlling it with voice. So give it a name that you could recognize. And that's it, guys. Pretty simple setup. And as you could see, I could toggle the bar here to open and close. I could also set a schedule on the app itself. So super easy. And as mentioned before, I could use my voice to control it through Google or Alexa. Thanks, guys. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.